Hello and welcome to my channel, guys. I hope you guys are doing well. So past two videos we have understood the pandas, and this is also an extension of the previous video. So in this video also we'll continue the pandas and we'll understand the different other methods that can be helpful for the data analysis and EDA using the pandas. So let's get started. Let me share my screen and then we'll continue from there where we have stopped in the last video. All set. So I have used the same IPONB file where we have stopped. We'll continue from there itself. So we already have the data frame, that is DF, right? And from there we will start working and we'll understand some more analysis on our data. So we have three different data based upon the policy. If you see over here, so in the data section, if you go, we have a patient data. Under this patient data we have a 2025 and 2026 data, right? Then we have a policy data. So what we are going to do now, we are going to use those all data and we'll perform some of the analysis top of that. So on the top I have defined the patient data 2026. If you remember from the last video, we already have that variable over here. So what we are going to do, that we're going to use that one and we will do certain analysis using that also. Patient 2026 data, we're going to use this also now. So what I'll do, let me first get this data over here and now execute this. So we have a patient data 25 in the DF and 26 over here. Now we're gonna combine both the data, as both the data are same and we have only the year difference. So what we'll do, we will use to combine both the data. How we should combine this data? We should combine this data vertically. What does it mean by vertically? So let's say that we have one data over here which is 2025 data, right? So this is the data which is 2025. Now we have a 2026 data which is over here. Let's say we have a 2026 data over here. I want to combine both, so I'll bring this over here, right? So it should be completely one data. You can say on the top it will be 2025 and the bottom it will be 2026. So I want to combine the data vertically. I want to combine the data vertically. For that, I will use one of the method into Pandas that is called concatenation. Concatenation. So this is the important, I would say, concept. Whenever you want to combine both the data vertically, then we use this concatenation. It's not always necessary that using the concatenation you always combine the data vertically. You can combine horizontally as well as the vertically based upon the requirement. So now we'll understand how we can combine data vertically. So what I'll do over here is I will use both the data and I'll write over here, let's say pd.concat. Perfect. And over here I'll take the list. Over here in the list we'll pass df comma and I'll use this patient 26 data. Perfect. And I will pass over here. Now we have to give the axis also. Axis is important. Without axis the data will not concat as per your requirement. So let's say the first trial, I'm not going to pass anything axis. I'll just write pd.concat df, which is my patient data 2025 and the patient 2026 data. Now enter this. As soon as you have done this, this data has concatenated vertically. You can see over here, there is a 2000 rows are available. But if you see patient ID, name, patient age, email, policy number, policy type, and then we have over here year, age and year. Why? We already have one year over here, then why we have year again over here? And we already have age over here, then why we have age over here? We need to understand this part, guys. This is very much important to understand before starting the concatenation. What happened actually over here? So if you see the column name, let's go to the next cell and try to get the df.columns. and you have these columns. Now take your 2026 data, okay, and try to get the column over here also. So if you see that patient ID, patient name, you have patient age over here, but you have age over here. So both the columns are not same over here. Email and email, policy number, policy type. Here is year is a small and here is a year capital. So it is very much important whenever you are doing the concatenation between the two data frame, both the data frame columns name must be same. This columns name must be same. So over here, because of this age and you have over here patient age, it has created a two different age column over here. One is the patient age, that is for your 2025 data. So for 2025, if you see, you have a patient age available, but for 2026, it is none over here. Similarly, for the year, it is small and capital. So for 2025, 2026 is null, and 2020 for the 2026, you have 25 null over here. So I think it makes sense now. So what we have to do now, we have to combine, before combining both the data, we have to make sure that all the columns available in both the data must be same. So what are the columns name are different over here? The patient age and I think year, only these two. Because if you see, there is only two column extra created, that is age and year. Rest all we have it. So what I'll do over here, I'm going to write over here the rename column code over. So I'll take this patient 2026 data, not columns. I'll remove this part and I'll write rename, and under that columns equal to the old column name and the new column name. So I'll take this old column name, that is age. So over here age, perfect. And new column name should be patient age. So I'll copy this part from here and I will pass it over here. Then we have one more, that is this year. Then take over here comma and year. Now take this year, perfect. And after that, we also need to write over here in place equal to true. Why? Because we want to change the name on the schema level, not for this instance, right? True. Done. Now let's take this patient 2026 data dot columns, and you have the column name over here, which is exactly same as your df columns. Now you perform over here pd dot concat and you pass over here df comma and this patient data 2026. Okay, I need to pass both the data frame into one list. So now if you see that we have a 7 columns and 2000 rows. Patient ID, patient name, patient age, email, policy number, policy type and year. Under the year we have 2025 and 2026 data. Perfect guys. So this is how it is. Now I said that writing an axis is important over here, but by default it has combined both the data vertically. It means that it has combined both the data at axis 0. What does it mean axis 0? So let's say we'll write over here axis equal to 1. It should be comma over here. Axis I have mentioned 1. So now I have mentioned axis equal to 1. Now if you see that we have 1000 rows and 14 columns, it means that it has added the data, both the data it has combined horizontally. How? It has combined the data horizontally. How horizontally? Like what does it mean by horizontal? It means that we have one data over here, that is nothing but 2025, and another data is over here, that is 2026. So by column wise, it has 7 columns and 1000 rows, and it has 7 column and 1000 rows. So if you combine both, it will become 14 columns and 1000 rows, which is showing over here. If you see, it's showing over here. Now, this axis means it will combine your data horizontally, and axis 0 means it will combine data vertically. So this is axis 1, this is 1, and axis 0 means vertical. So if you are confused over here, I'll write over here. So this is your horizontal, this is your vertical. So over here it is axis equal to 0, and over here it is axis equal to 1. Perfect. So if you have mentioned axis 1, it will combine your data as per this rule horizontally. But if you write axis equal to 0, it will combine your data vertically. But by default, this concat operation has an axis 0. But if you don't write anything, by default it will take axis 0. I hope it's clear now. So what I'll do now, I'll change this to axis 0. So as soon as I change it to 0, you will have a 7 column and 2000 row. It means that data has vertically combined. And now I'll write over here patient. I'll save that into one variable that is called patient data. Patient data. Perfect. We have this data now. If you check the save of this data, dot save, you have a 2000 columns and 2000 row and 7 columns. Why? Because it has combined the data vertically, guys. If you mention 1 over here, it will be horizontal. And by default, if you don't write anything, concat combine the data vertically. Makes sense, right? Now we have one more data, that is policy data. So we will use this also. So let's take this, and I'll copy the path from here, copy the path, and over here write policy file path equal to this we have. So I'll use this inverted comma. Perfect. Now over here, policy data equal to pd.excel, pd.read Excel, because this policy file have only one sheet. But if you want to see that, let's try to see that. So pd.excel file, and over here you just write policy file path. Okay, execute this. Now take this policy data dot sheet names. We have only one, so it is not worth to use this Excel file. We will use directly pd.read Excel, because we have only one sheet, guys. So we can directly use over here pd.read Excel. Okay, pd.read Excel. Now execute this and remove this part. Dot save. Let's see how many data we have. We have a 2000 data and 4 rows. Now let's try to policy data over here. So policy data have policy number, provider name, and coverage amount, and start year. So these 4 columns we have. Next, what we want, that if you see our this patient data, in this patient data, let's try to get this over here. Patient data dot head I'll take. So this also have a policy number, and this policy also have a policy number. And what I want, that I want to combine this whole data and make it one, so that in one data I should have a patient ID, patient name, age, email, policy type, year, then provider name, coverage amount, and start year. So all I can have into one. So for that, how we can combine this? Can we use the concatenation? Let's try that. So I'll write over here pd.concat, and over here I need to use one list. Under the list, I will pass over here this patient data, comma, and then this policy data. How I want to join this? I want to join horizontally. So I'll write over here axis equal to 1. We have a problem now. Re-indexing only valid with unique value index object. There is an invalid index error I am getting. First question. Why I want to use axis 1? Because I have a patient data. Patient data, which is over here, let's say. Now I have a policy data. Both the data are related to each other. Means we have a policy ID, and related to the policy information, we have all the information under the policy data. Related to the patient, we have over here. So both the data are not exactly same. So you cannot bring this data over here. You have to combine this data. You have to combine this data in horizontal way. That's why I'm using the axis equal to 1. I think I'm making sense. Now coming to the error. What kind of error we are getting? So let's see that what kind of error it is. Re-indexing only valid with unique value index object. So there are saying that it cannot be add both the data because of the invalid index. Because concatenation take place based upon the index, guys. Although we have a policy number column in both the data, we have not passed anything. So by default, this concatenation will perform based upon the index of this policy data and patient data. So if you see the patient data, just remove this head from here. And if you try to do this, you have a mixed of index. So that is not possible. So we have to rearrange that. So what I'll do, dot reset index. I'll use reset index over here. Now, as soon as I have done reset index, the index starting from the 0 to 1999, but we have also one column over here, index, that we can drop later on. But let's see that whether we have this index from 0 to 1099 available, or we have to use something else. Yes, it is not. It has not changed for the schema level. It has changed for the instance level. So what I'll do, I'll just use this, or you can just pass over it in place equal to true. In place equal to true, and then now let's try to execute this. So you have this index 0 to 1099, and also policy data have a 0 to 1099, but we have one unnecessary column, that is this one. So we'll remove that part. So first let's make this head, okay, and then use one more column over here, one more cell to remove this part. I want to drop the column which is index. So how we can drop? I'll write over here, drop the column index. How we can drop this? So we'll write over here patient data dot drop and columns equal to index. Done, right? And I'll write over here in place, because I want to change that on the schema level. In place equal to true. Done, guys. It's done. Now if you want to check again, patient data dot head. Now if you are confused why I'm doing all this activity, so I try to use the concat and I'm getting the error over here that re-indexing only valid with unique valued index object. It means that we are getting a problem with the index level. And when we check over here, our policy data have a index 79, 117. It's not arranged from 0 to 2000 or 0 to 1199. So for that only, what I have done, we have re-indexed that, reset the index. As soon as I have reset the index, we have an index from 0 to 1099, but this index become the column. So that's why I am dropping that column. Index column we don't need. There's unnecessarily it's created because of this reset of index. So I have dropped that part. Now if you see, we have all 7 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. and an index also from 0 to 1999. Now let's try to execute this one. Again, I've executed this and we have now 11 column and 2000 rows. So patient ID, patient name, patient age, email, policy, policy type, year, and next we also have over here provider name, coverage, and start year. Perfect. But so if you see this data from this patient ID till this year, this is from your patient data, and from this policy number to the start year is your policy data. Perfect. And this data has basically aligned, or you can say that joined or concatenated based upon the index. So index 0 of your patient data and index 0 of your policy data combined, and on this level you have this over here. Perfect. So now see that. Let's see. Patient ID 80 is at index 0. So let's go to the patient. First, patient ID is 80 at index 0. Patient name is Krishna Kumar. Age is 80 again. And you have the policy number is this one, 8226. And policy type is premium over here. Perfect. 8226. Please remember this. Or let's copy this from here. This one. Perfect, guys. Let's copy over here and keep over here. Now let's come back to the policy data. On index 0 we have a policy number, this policy provider, coverage amount, and start year. Take this also and paste it. So if you see that this policy number and this policy number are not same, but why it has combined? It has combined based upon the index. Both the data index is 0, so based upon that it has combined, but policy number is not same. Because of that, the information corresponding to this customer, whatever we have the policy, I would say information, that is wrong. So whenever you have some relational data means in the policy data, your policy number column is same as a policy number column into the patient data. So it's a relational based data, I would say that. In like a SQL, one is the primary key, another is a foreign key. So in that case, you cannot use the concatenation, guys. You cannot use concatenation on relational database data, or not database data, because concat perform based on index match, and both the index has no not the same policy number, so it's a wrong, I would say, concatenation. I hope it's making sense. So I'll just cover this part. I'll comment out this. This is not the actual code. So how we can do this? We have to perform the merge query over here. Merge is similar to the join into the SQL. So how we'll do this? Let's try to see this. So what I'll do over here, I'll write, let's say pd dot or patient data. I'll take directly the patient data, which is over here. Patient data dot merge. Okay, and then I'll pass over here. I will pass over here policy data. Then how you want to perform this? I want to perform this on the left join. You know, if you know the SQL, you know left join, right? So I want to perform on the left join on what columns? So I want to join is based upon the policy number columns. So I'll write over here. See, it is similar to your SQL left join. You have to specify over here left and based upon common columns, that is a policy number. So based upon that, it will perform the merge. And as soon as you perform this, you have patient ID, patient name, patient age, email, policy number, policy type, year, provider name and coverage, then start year. So all those columns you have. And over here, you will not see the policy number twice. Why? Because we already have a policy number. Why you have not seen that twice? Because it has joined on the policy number. But if you want to specify, you have one more method to do this. How? If both the condition 2 over here. I think, guys, I'm not confusing you, right? So if you're confused, let's try to understand. So this is how you can perform the merge based upon the common column. Perfect, right? But now, case number 2 in the merge, case number 2, if both the data frame common columns name is not same, what you will do in this case? What you will do in this case? What I'm trying to show over here is we have a common column that is a policy number. If that policy number column name is not same in policy data and patient data, then what you will do in that case? So let's try to understand that also. What I'll do over here, I'll take this policy data first. Policy data dot rename, and over here write column equal to, I'll pass this policy number. Now your question will be, why I'm doing this? Because now I want to create that conflict over here, that both the data frame has not a common column name. The common column name is not same. So how will perform the merge? So in current situation, both the data frame has a common column name. Common column has the same name, column name. I want to change that intentionally. Then I want to see how that merge will work. So what I'll do over here, I'll make this, let's say, policy number. So you have now, if you see, policy number in the policy data. Now make this in place equal to true. In place equal to true. Done. Now if you check your policy data dot head, the column name has been changed. The column name has been changed to this small policy, small p with policy and number. Now I want to do the merge. So let's take this part and let's write it over here. So I want to merge my policy data with the patient data, which I have already done over here, but I have not saved into any variable. So this is only for this cell. Again, similar way, I want to perform over here in this current scenario. My this policy number column name has changed in the policy data. So now try to execute this. What I'm doing, again, patient data dot merge means join with patient data what? Policy data. How? Left join means left will be on the left side, there will be a patient data. On the right side, there will be a policy data, as it has done over here. See, from patient name to year is the patient data, which is on the left. On the right is the policy data. So why? Because I have used the left over here. So similar way, I want to join this. So now let's execute this. Will it work or not? It will not. Why? Because if you see over here, policy number means this column is not exactly same into your policy data. It is a policy number. So can we join now or not? Of course we can join that, but you have to specify over here, that is left on means on the left table what is the column with you want to join, and on the right which is the column name, or in the right table or right data frame which is the column name on which basis you want to join your data, both the data frame. So on left, the column name is policy number with the capital P and capital N, and right on the right side we have policy data. In that policy data table, I want to join based upon the policy number data columns where P is small and N is small. So now let's try to execute this, and you have a complete table over here after joining. So if you'll see policy number and here also policy number. Perfect. Now if you try to match, it is both the policy are matching. So it has joined the data very much on the policy number, and wherever it is matching, based upon that only it has joined, guys. And it is a left join, means all the data from your patient data and only the matching data from the right table. I think you know this already, right? Because as you know SQL, so I think you will be aware of what is the left join. So left join means all the data from your left table. Let's say this is one table and this is the another table, and I'm performing the left join on policy number. So all the data from your patient table, and only the common data from your policy table. Why? Because on the left I have used the patient table, patient data, and on the right I have used the policy data. So this is how it is going to join. And if you see that this policy and this policy number is same, it means that the information of provider, coverage and year all are associated to this policy number only. It's not a mismatch now. So with this you have understood in which scenario you can use the concatenation and in which scenario you can use the merge. Perfect, guys. So now what I'll do that I'll save this data into one of the variable. Let's take this variable name is patient data only. Patient data. Now let's take this patient data and try to see what are the things we have. So we have patient ID, patient name, age, email, policy number, policy type, year, policy number again, and provider. Next we have a coverage year, coverage amount and start year. Perfect. What I'll do, I'll remove one of the policy number because both are not required. So over here I'll write patient data dot drop columns equal to, over here I'll pass policy number. Perfect. And this has been deleted. Now what I'll do over here, I'll write in place equal to true. Now let's take this dot date. So this data have all the 11 columns, 10 columns, not 11. Perfect. If you check this save, patient data dot save, you have all this 2002 data and 10 columns. Perfect, guys. So now what I want is that I want to filter out patient data where policy type is let's say basic. Policy type is basic. So filter out the patient data where policy type is basic. So what I'll do for this, I'll take this patient data, let's say, and then I want over here policy type equal to basic, BASIC. Perfect. So if you'll see over here, we have some Boolean expression over here, false, true, false, all those. But how we can get all the data for it? So what I'll do that, I will use this square bracket and call this data frame over here. So like this, you will get only those data wherever the policy type is basic. Perfect. Now I want to see that how many customer or how many patient above 40 has taken policy from let's say ICICI Lombard. Okay, I want to see that how many of the patient age 40 above 40 has taken the policy from ICICI Lombard. So for that, what I'll do again, I need this policy data. Use this policy data over here. Then first is age should be greater than 40. So I'll use over here patient age greater than 40. Now use the, I try to filter this first. So what I'll do, I'll just use over here this patient data frame. So these are the patient whose age is above 40. But now next filter I want to apply that they have taken the insurance from the ICICI Lombard. So now we have to use the end operation over here. So first you keep these into the parenthesis, then use the end operation and, sorry, it's dollar, not end, and your patient data policy name, provider name equal to, it should not be here, it should be here, equal to ICICI Lombard. So take this directly. Perfect. And this should be also under the parenthesis. This condition should be under the parenthesis. So whenever you have an end operation on or operation, or let's say multiple end operation or multiple or operation, all the logic you must write under the parenthesis. So this is one logic and I have written into the parenthesis. Then I have used the end operation over here. Then again I have written over here parenthesis with, sorry, I have written over here logic 2 with the parenthesis. Perfect. And this square bracket is for this data frame to get all the data which meet this criteria. Now let's run this. So you have this data. We have a 270 rows, but I said get the how many means I want the number. Then you can use over here dot count. So it will show you that it has a 270 patient ID. So basically 270 patient has used this ICICI Lombard for the age is greater than 40, guys. Perfect. So this is one of the example. Next what I want to see, how many patient age above 50 has taken the insurance from ICICI Lombard or SDFC Ergo. So what I'll do for this, I'll write over here how many patient above age 50 are taken insurance from ICICI or HDFC. So for this, what you will do? First, I'll copy this. Control C. Patient data age should be greater than 50 and patient provider name ICICI Lombard or guys, patient data provider name, patient data this provider name should be HDFC Ergo. So let's copy from here HDFC Ergo. It should be over here. So under this provider name, we have a two name. One is the ICICI, other is the SDFC. So I said or over here. So it should be or operation, not an AND operation. But this is also one logic for or, and this is also another logic for or. So there will be individual parentheses. I'll use parenthesis over here and parenthesis over here. Perfect. Now let's try to execute this. Or if you want, I can break this like this. Okay. Dot count. We have an error. Data object has no attribute count. Okay, it should not be this. So 379 patient has taken the insurance either from the ICICI Lombard or SDFC Ergo above age 50. Perfect, guys. If you want to see the data, just remove this count and you will be able to see the data over there. But if as soon as you use the count, you will get the number actually. So next we have a coverage amount as well, right? We have a coverage amount. So I want to see that how many of a customer invest the money between 20,000 to 40,000 for the year on 2023 2024. So that value I want. So let me write down over here the question. How many patient has invested amount between 20,000 to 40,000 during year 2023 and 2024. So how will you find this number? So again, patient data over here, I want this coverage amount. So I'll consider this coverage amount dot between 20,000 to 40,000, right? This is what first I want to find out. So let's try to find out first this. Step by step we will complete this query. But first let's try to find how many of the customer or patient has invested the money in the insurance between the 20,000 to 40,000. There is no customer over here. How it is possible? Let's see over here. It is. So what I'll do over here is I will check the unique values available under this coverage amount. What are the unique values? We have dot unique. So all are more than, I think, lakhs. If I make this, let's say 2 lakhs to 4 lakhs, then we have a customer, guys. So sorry, the amount is not in thousand, that's in lakhs. So that's why we are not getting. So there are a customer who has, I'll make this lakhs and this also lakhs. So then, so now the new question is how many patient has invested the amount between 2 lakhs to 4 lakhs during the year 2023 and 2024 in the insurance. Okay, in insurance. So first filter I have applied for coverage amount between 2 lakhs to 4 lakhs. So we have the some patient ID over here. The total patient is 477 for this range 2 lakhs to 4 lakhs. Next is the year should be 2023-2024. So starting year should be 2023-2024. So what I'll do over here, I'll write the AND operation and your patient data. Next, I want to pass over here that your starting year dot is in 2023 to 2024. And I have a two logic, so it should be under the parenthesis, guys. Hope I am making sense that. See, the pandas is similar to your SQL actually. There is a problem. Series didn't take 2 positional argument, but 3 has given. Okay, let's pass this into the list. This one. Now we have a 248, I would say, customer who has taken the insurance between 2 to 4 lakhs in the starting year of 2023 and 2024. If you want, I can just filter out patient ID and I'll count that patient ID, because patient ID always will be unique. For one patient, there is only one patient ID. So that's why we have no chance of having a duplicate patient ID. In that case, I will try to check the value or count of the patient ID who has taken the insurance between 2 to 4 lakhs in the year of 2023 and 2024. And we have a 248 for this. Now, I was discussing about the duplicates, But the question is how to find there is a duplicate in the data or not. That is also important. How to find there is a duplicate in the data or not. So for that, so what I'll do for this, I'll take this patient data directly over here, then dot a duplicated, and it will return you the Boolean expression, whether true or false. But as soon as you write dot sum over here, it will show you that there is a duplicate or not. So it is showing on the patient data, like there is a 0 duplicates. But I want to see on the column wise. So what I'll do for that, I want to see first on my column patient ID. So I'll write over here patient ID, which is this one, dot duplicated dot sum. So as soon as I've written this, I found there is a 2 duplicates in this, but I was considering there is no duplicate patient ID. There is only patient ID will be unique, but I found there is a 2 points where we have a duplicates. Now how to find which patient ID is twice in this data frame? So what I'll do, I'll write that value counts. So see, patient ID 1173 and 1581 is twice. So there are 2 patient ID which is available twice. So let's see what are the corresponding data we have to this patient ID. So what I'll do over here, I'll write patient data plus patient data, patient ID dot is in, and I'll pass these 2 ID. One ID over here, comma, another ID is this one. Why I'm passing without inverted comma? Because I'm considering that these patient ID is a data type is integer. Okay, I should pass this into the list, guys. Now take this and use over here patient ID. Try to get this. See, these 2 are twice because the name is also same, ID is also same, name is also same, and I think it's duplicated data, and both are available in 2026. So as it is available twice, I want to drop one of the records. So how we can do that? That is very easy. So I'll take this patient data over here, patient data dot drop duplicates. Okay, duplicates, and then over here we have to write subset equal to I want to delete based upon the patient ID. So I'll pass this patient ID over here. So based upon that, I want to delete, then comma, and I want to keep the first record, basically the first record. So between these 2, Krishna Mehta, patient ID 1171, I want to keep the first one. And between these 2, like patient ID 1581, I want to keep the this first one. So I'll write over here first. This is how you can remove the duplicates. So now we have a 2000 records, guys. I think at the beginning also it was 2002. So because of that. Okay. And I think you have to write over here in place equal to true also. In place equal to true. Perfect. So now if you check your patient data, and over here this patient ID, dot duplicated dot sum, you will find 0, means there is no patient ID duplicate available in this data. So before that, before this all exercise, we have done one kind of a analysis over here. How many patient has invested amount between 2 lakhs to 4 lakhs during year 2013 2024, 2023 to 2024 in insurance. So we got 248, but we are not sure those duplicate data was available in this or not. So if it is available, it means that this is a wrong analysis. So I want to rerun this again at the bottom. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this part from here to the very last cell, and I will try to execute this. and now we have 248. So those duplicate patient ID is not available in this. Next, let's try to get the data first. Dot head. Okay. I want to write the query, similar query, but different way. So how we can do that? See, over here, if you see that we have used the between and operation and many things, but what is the other way of writing this query? So what I'll do over here, I'll write patient data dot query, and then you pass your query like a SQL over. First, I want this coverage amount. So I'll write over here this coverage amount dot between 2,000 2 lakhs to 4 lakhs. Okay. And this start year dot is in 2023, 2024. It should be under the list actually. So you have this 248. What I have done, so whatever the expression you see over here, I have written inside the query like a string. So this query take all the argument as a string and it perform like a SQL query over the pandas data frame. Now let's see the other example using the query. So I want to find out, filter out patient detail whose age is greater than 40 and taken premium policy. So I want to find out this detail. So what I'll do for this, I'll just go to this patient data. I'll take this patient data directly from here, then dot query, and I'll write over here, let's say, what is the name of the column which I have? It's a patient age. So I'll copy this. Patient age should be greater than 40, but I should not write this under the inverted comma. I will use over here that directly the double inverted comma. Okay, 40, and it should be and over here. Next is a premium policy. So that should be the policy type. I'll take this policy type over here and I'll write policy type equal to I have to use over here premium. This premium under the single inverted comma because this is a string, and then double inverted comma to complete the query. Now try to execute this. We have an error. What is the error? This and. Okay, this should be small and actually. And now we have a data. There are 321 patient who has taken the premium policy and whose age is more than 40. So this is how you can use the query as well in the pandas data frame to filter out or do the analysis, I would say. Next, I want to find out how many patient email ID contains gmail.com. that I want to find out. So what I'll do, I'll just take this patient data dot, sorry, not dot, I'll just pass over here email dot str.contains, and you pass over here at gmail.com, and now use this patient data to get all the data over here. So 632. If you want, you just pass over here patient ID patient id dot count. So there are 632 patients are there whose email contains gmail.com. Next, I want to find out how many patients email start with AR. So what I'll do, I'll just copy the same query over here, and instead of contains, I'll write starts with, and over here it should be AR 190. If you remove this part, let's copy this from here to here and remove this part from here. So you will get all the data first. See, Arjun Reddy, Arjun Singh, Arjun Sharma, Arjun Yadav, Arjun Joshi. And over here, if you try to find out, you have 190 emails or 190 patient detail where email start with AR. And you can use this start with to find out that. Next is that how many patient surname, or you can say the last name end with sing. That is what I want to find out. How many patient last name end with the sing. So I'll use the same one over here, and I'll copy this exactly same over here, and I'll remove this part from this, and over here I'll write ends with, and it should be over here sing, SINGH. Okay, and here it should be actually patient name. Now let's try to execute this. You have a 227 patient where last name is same, and all the details are over here, guys. But if you need only the count, you just copy this from here, Control C, and paste it over here. Perfect. 227. So this is all about this video, guys. If you find this interesting, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. See you in the next videos. Panda still not completed. We'll see again in the next video. Thank you so much, guys.